Hi, it's Wednesday, the 18th of December, only 1 week to go until Christmas. What are you doing for Christmas this year? Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe you're going around to celebrate Christmas with people that do. Always a good feed. I've got 6 people coming here for Christmas, even though I've promised that we'll do a program on Christmas morning. It is an exciting day for many people that have enjoyed Christmas throughout their lives. I recognise also for other people it can be a very lonely day. So hopefully at TNT we can just take a bit of your time to bring you a little bit of Christmas joy on that day. Let's go to the news. And the anti-money laundering organisation have been very busy rounding up some of the funds stolen from people with, well, a number of scams. AMLO seizes billions in major fraud cases, this being reported by the Bangkok Post. And pictured there, lawyer Sitra Biabunkerd, who's in one hell of a lot of trouble now. We'll find out a bit more. The Anti-Money Laundering Office, it's the Anti-Money Laundering Office, not organisation, has announced significant progress in tackling fraud cases, including those involving high-profile lawyer Sitra Biabunkerd, the Icon Group, and Stark Corporation. And key details include the seizure and freezing of assets related to 12 major cases, mainly large-scale fraud, drug-related felonies, online gambling networks, comprising over 234 items valued around 836 million baht. So their ability to actually get some of these stolen funds back, I think, should be applauded. In the case of lawyer Mr. Sitra and his associates, they've frozen 3 assets, totalling 71 million baht. And from the case involving Duen Napa Kiao Kam Nerd and her accomplices, they've frozen a total of 122 assets valued at 669 million baht. And in the case of Panuwat Jaiman, the AMLO have confiscated 22 assets valued at 81 million baht. And for the Icon Group, 103 assets valued at 286 million baht. And some 40 items valued at 29 million baht have been already returned to claimants. And for the case involving the former chairman of the Stark Corporation, the AMLO have submitted the case to prosecutors to seek restitution for over 3,900 victims. Are you ready for this? That involves 50 assets totalling 3.24 billion baht. So they have been very busy, and let's hope they get some of those funds back to the victims. Now, I just noticed in searching this story, I found another one of these aggregators. Actually, I've seen them before, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention just how bad some of these aggregators do their job. And these are people calling themselves Thai.news, Thailand breaking news. They always use an AI-generated photo, obviously getting around the copyright rules of using other people's photos, and language like this. Escorted by an entourage of reporters, the 44-year-old high-profile lawyer found himself in the spotlight again last month. But this time it wasn't the courtroom bravado that garnered attention. It was his entanglement in a sensational anti-fraud crackdown orchestrated by Thailand's very own financial detectives, the Anti-Money Laundering Office. I'm sorry to waste your time on this, I just can't help myself. I just love this gibberish. The air was thick with anticipation during the press conference as the AMLO's straight-laced Secretary-General, flanked by his equally prestigious spokesperson, laid bare the result of their relentless pursuit of justice following a definitive transaction committee meeting on Monday. Oh, goodness, more. The staggering number rolled off their tongues, painting a vivid portrait of crime, cunning, and colossal cash. Mr. Sitra's distinct saga of legal turmoil had culminated with the freezing of these 3 significant assets. He wasn't alone in this soap opera of greed. So the way you end up with this rather rainbow-tinted word salad is by copying the original article, pasting it into ChatGPT. And unless you give ChatGPT the correct instructions on how you want them to rewrite it, it often does sort of end up with this rather fruity, over-exaggerated language, which is just comical. And I'm not really sure how this business, Thai.news, I don't know who they are, but why they think that they can just churn out this rubbish and think that any of us would find it either informative or, well, maybe it's entertaining. It is rather humorous, just wading through this sort of lingo. Anyway, I don't mean to waste your time, but I think it's important to know the sources of where our news comes from and point out the ones that are aggregating or polluting the web space with this sort of rubbish. Let's go to a quick update on the floods. Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com, floods in 6 provinces, airports remain open. And there was little let up in the flooding in 6 southern provinces yesterday, but the 4 airports in the affected regions remain open. 8 people have died in the floods that were affecting 161,605 households. So it is still important to note, even though the weather has really improved in the south, if you are going to the islands like Koh Tao, Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Suratani, Chumpon, Nakhon Si Thammarat, just check the weather in those locations to make sure things are improving so that you can either get to the airport or get through the roads in your travels. As we head to this story published by thepatianews.com, Thailand considering banning bar drinking games as part of upcoming alcohol control law adjustments. So there's also a cannabis control law coming up, but it looks like the alcohol control law has at this stage got to the top of the pile. Let's check out some of the details. It says the Thai Ministry of Public Health has announced that the Alcohol Beverage Control Bill is set to be submitted to Parliament in January 2025, and it will have a focus on public health and safety. Let's go through some of the 4 points. The first one relating to sales hours, and it says there's a clear intention not to allow 24-hour alcohol sales, and potentially adjusting the current restrictions on afternoon sales between 2 and 5 p.m. to more international standards. So this is something that I end up confronting quite often with my customers. I don't personally drink alcohol, but a lot of my customers do enjoy a drink, and we could end up at the supermarket. I take them for a free visit to the supermarket, and we might be there between 2 and 5 in the afternoon, and they grab a 6-pack of beer, and I have to be the one to break the news saying, well, actually you can't buy alcohol between 2 and 5, and I have to go through all the reasons I think. It goes back to 1975, an old law, but maybe it could be changed. Let's go through some of the other potential changes. Public health and safety, things like emphasising strict enforcement to prevent underage access. And a bit further down there, a push to ban drinking games. And the Pattaya News editor says it's not completely clear what this means, but could potentially endanger popular bar drinking games like Connect 4 or Jackpot. Feedback on social media, they report, around this proposal is nearly universally negative. And the ever-popular one, drink driving prevention, and it notes new policies potentially aiming to curb the 34% of fatal accidents linked to alcohol consumption during the last New Year celebration. Well, this is an area where Thailand always seems to fail, trying to curb the drink driving and the speeding, particularly during what they call these 7 days of danger, primarily around New Year, the Western New Year, as well as Songkran, the Thai New Year. They've been trying for years, and they do the checkpoints, and there's a lot of goodwill behind it, but they're obviously going to have to change tack if they really want to tackle the ongoing road carnage related to alcohol. And then related to public and political support, noting that anti-alcohol advocacy groups have supported the move for stricter controls, while some political entities like the Move Forward Party have proposed bills in the past to ease restrictions for local producers but keep public health in mind. And that bill from Move Forward Party was really all about trying to break the alcohol monopoly. So some changes ahead for alcohol drinkers perhaps early in next year. Of course, we'll do our best to keep you informed. And one more story. Again, a bit of a focus on the Bangkok Post today. The headline, Cabinet refuses to abolish capital punishment. And just before we read the article, just a bit of background. Of the 10 ASEAN nations, only Cambodia and the Philippines have outlawed it, though Laos and Brunei have not conducted executions for decades. The story goes on. The Cabinet on Tuesday rejected a proposal by the National Human Rights Commission seeking to abolish the death penalty in Thailand, according to a deputy government spokesperson, citing the opinions of the Courts of Justice, which argue that the death penalty remained necessary in Thailand due to the nature of certain crimes. And at a recent seminar to mark World Day Against the Death Penalty, representatives from the NHRC said the body came up with a proposal to be carried out in 4 steps, which would gradually lead to the end of capital punishment. It was agreed at the seminar that the move to abolish the death penalty in Thailand was a challenge for human rights advocates, and the civil sector would support a bill seeking to do away with it. So the reality in Thailand is that the death penalty is all but abolished. Over the past 2 decades, from memory, only 2 people have been executed, the last one back in 2018. Most people who are given the death penalty these days have their sentences commuted to life imprisonment. But it appears there are new pushes to try and get Thailand to join other civilised countries in abolishing the death penalty. And with that, thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with some of the things happening around Thailand. We do this 5 days a week with a live program on Sunday. We will be here for Christmas Day and New Year's Day this year, so put those in your diary, and we'll try and keep you up to date all the way through the holiday period. A big thanks to our sponsors, 5 Star Marine and Beach House Thailand, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.